All right, so the question that is being asked a lot for some reason is people are having a hard time figuring out what the best card to mine with if they have free electricity. So first, we got to talk about the types of free electricity. Are you actually running on solar power, where you've just literally prepaid electricity and you have a set amount of electricity that you can use throughout the day? So there's a cap or a limit. Are we talking about electricity is included in my rent, where if we start to increase the electricity bill by $500 a month, the landlord's going to be like, hey, what are you doing? You can't have that much electricity, we're going to have to increase your rent. Is that what is meant by free electricity? Is there a cap? And there's other things. Maybe you're at a campground in a trailer using their electricity, maybe at your parents' house, but at some point it's not really free electricity, someone's paying for it. The only way it can be free is if you're really stealing it and they can't actually find out where you are. In almost every scenario I could think of, whether you're using your parents, landlords, including the rent, you have a solar power system you prepaid a shit ton of money for electricity, all those are going to have caps for either your battery system and solar power isn't recharging fast enough and you're using too much, or your landlord or somebody else is going to say something about the electricity you're using. So having said that, if your electricity is really free and unlimited, then the best card to get is the fastest card, because you're going to want to have the least amount of cards running in your rigs and you want to have the most speed. Now that happens to be the new 4090 that came out. If you can't get that, then you're looking at a 3090 Ti, 3090, the big cards. So when someone comes in and says, what card should I be using if I got free electricity, that usually means there's more to the story, that the electricity does have some type of cap, because if it was truly free, you would just buy the best card available. Now, when you have free and unlimited electricity, the other metric you may be looking for is how much hash rate you can get per dollar. Now, if money isn't a concern, then yeah, 4090s, 3090 Ti's, whatever. But if money is a concern and you have free and unlimited electricity, the card you want to get is not always going to be the same card. It's going to be which card you can get that has the most hash rate per dollar. So for example, if you get a 3090 Ti and say that the hash rate on Ethereum was somewhere around 135 megahash, and the 3090 you get up to 122 megahash, but there's a serious price difference. Maybe the 3090 Ti is $1,500. Maybe you can get a 3090 for $1,000. That extra hash on a 3090 Ti does not make up the difference. The 3090 is going to have better hash rate per dollar. You're going to want to calculate, whatever card you can find at a good deal, figure out what the hash rate is on the coin that you want to mine, and use the same coin for all the cards. You can reference which card is better, and then you'll take that hash rate and divide it by dollar, or divide the dollars by hash rate. As long as you do the same every time, it doesn't matter. Get a ratio. So if I spend $600 on a card and it does 100 megahash, it's $6 per megahash. If I spend $900 on a card and it does like 150 megahash, that's also $6 per megahash. But what if I spend $900 on a card and say it does 110 megahash, where I could spend $600 on a card and it does 100 megahash? You see what I'm saying here? The cost per megahash is going to be less when you're spending 600 for the 100. So if you're trying to utilize a limited supply of money and you have free and unlimited electricity, then you're going to look at how much hash rate can I get per dollar. Now, what is the best card if we have not free electricity, or our electricity is capped? Say we're on solar. Say we can only use a kilowatt an hour, or maybe we only want to run up a couple $100 on our landlord's electric bill. So when you're looking at a limited supply of electricity, either to not get caught, or your battery system on solar and your battery power and recharge rate is limited, then the metric we're going to be using to determine what the best card is actually a metric built into some of the mining programs already. It's kilowatts per hash. You're basically looking for the card that gets the best hash rate for the least amount of electricity, also forms a ratio. You can do the math whichever way you want, as long as you keep it the same. You got a card that is using 300 watts, getting 100 megahash. So that's 3 watts per megahash, compared to a card that maybe uses 200 watts and gets maybe 50 megahash. That's 4 watts per megahash. You see where I'm going with this? You establish those ratios, and it doesn't matter which way you do it. If you go watts per megahash, or megahash per watts, or kilohash, whatever specific algorithm you're using to compare the cards, as long as you have the speeds gathered from the same algorithm, you can divide it whichever way you want, keep the same ratio, and you can figure out what the most efficient card is. So fastest and efficient card to utilize your set of electricity, your limited quantity of electricity, before you either get caught by your landlord or you're maxing out your solar system. When we're looking at efficiency on something like Ethereum or at hash, the 3070, the RTX 3070 is hands down probably one of the best cards. Now there are probably some AMD equivalents that get that same efficiency, but like literally AMD sucks. And if you use them, that's fine. You can figure out what card to use in AMD. But I read they have like 2% of the market share or 2 to 3% of the market share, and they're just not a popular card to use anyways. Every time I've used them, I've had a lot of problems with them. So if you're looking for efficiency, you're pretty safe with an RTX 3070. Some other cards may be more efficient than a 3070 depending on the algorithm, but the 3070 has always been the safe bet. So that answers the question, what is the best card to mine with if you have free electricity? We've talked about what free electricity means and the limits of it, and we've talked about what the most efficient card is, and we've talked about the fastest card. So hopefully that answers your questions, and feel free to leave comments or suggestions below.